I want to read to you a letter I wrote to the Inspector General of the United States State Department in November of 2009. It states that after careful consideration, I feel compelled to inform the American people of the despicable actions of Pacific Architects and Engineers, a division of Lockheed Martin, that occurred at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. They hold the operations and maintenance contract there. I was employed there from October 2008 to October 2009. The number of Americans employed there by them are a minority of their workforce. If we were not needed for classified areas, they would employ none. Remember that the embassy is considered American soil. The Americans there were required to have job skills. The Kenyans and Romanians they employed were largely unskilled and required training. They kept bringing them in while the employment in parts of America hit over 25%. Neither Kenya nor Romania paid any human or monetary cost to fight that war. Why? While they were given American jobs. What makes it worse is that they were treated better than the Americans. When uniforms were handed out, they got as many nice fitting clothes as they wanted. The Americans were given fewer clothes that were ill-fitting. When monthly cards, phone cards, and per diem were handed out, the foreigners came first. The company often ran out. The Americans would not only last, they did without. The foreigners that worked in the office had unfettered access to American Social Security numbers, putting the Americans at risk of ID theft. They had foreigners handling U.S. mail. The foreigners came out in the compound, came and went as they pleased, sometimes doing little work. When I injured my shoulder at work, they sent me to the company foreign doctor. He gave me a non-FDA approved medicine that damaged my liver. When I demanded to see the doctor of my choice, which is my right under federal labor law, I was denied that option. When I left the compound at the completion of my contract, they were completing new, more secure housing. The plan was to move the foreigners in first, leaving the Americans to take the 10-minute bus ride, putting them at danger of injury, kidnapping, or death. I consider that an act of treason. After the billions Lockheed Martin made off of that war, they have the gall to do these things. You have to remember the timeline. This was in the end of 2009. We had just handed over security to the Iraqis. That's when the insurgents were daily putting on uniforms, pretending to be officers or policemen, and blowing things up. You never knew who was getting on that bus. Why were the Americans last? Why were we were their target. They wanted to kill us or kidnap us. What's going on? It's crazy. Right after I sent them this letter, I got a call from the government, from a guy named Pedro at the State Department. He treated me with contempt over the phone, saying, "Why are you complaining?" And then they didn't put the company under investigation. They investigated me. I lost my top secret security clearance. It took a while to get a secret back, which is a lower grade, and now nobody will hire me because I did the right thing for my country. I was a patriot and I complained. And now nobody will hire me because I've got a black mark on my record. What's going on? Come on, these companies, these big companies, they don't care. They have no loyalty to our country or to us. We got to fight back.